Hello, I'm Ryan Jenkins, and in this video, we're going to explore who is Generation Z. Quick overview of Gen Z. There are people born between 1998 and 2012. The events of 9/11 are history to Generation Z. They either weren't old enough to remember the events, or they weren't old enough to actually have those events imprint them from an emotional perspective, or they just simply weren't born yet. So the events of 9/11 to Generation Z are truly history. The entire generation is younger than Google. The whole generation has never known a world prior to Google. Pretty extraordinary. They're the most don't know a world where a connected device has been outside of arm's reach. That's fundamentally changed how they learn, how they buy, how they sell, how they communicate, everything. And lastly, they're projected to be the most diverse generation in history. That's a quick overview of Gen Z. Let me give you a couple more statistics to round out, to give you a better understanding of who this generation is. They're the first global generation. They're continuous learners. They're going to have one of the longest careers of any generation in human history, so they're going to have to constantly be learning and growing and upskilling. They're digitally dependent. As we stated, they haven't known a world where a device has been outside of arm's reach, so they're not just tech savvy, they're truly digitally dependent. 63% of Generation Z doesn't remember a time before the Great Recession. So that gives us an indication of the social mood and some of the tough conversations that were happening inside the household as Generation Z came of age. So they're going to be much more realistic and cautious because of that. 91% say tech sophistication impacts their interest in working at a company. I don't think that would surprise anybody. 75% prefer face-to-face interaction at work. That, for many of my audience and clients, that is a very surprising statistic. But high tech is a must for this generation, but they're also craving this human connection. Whether they're telling you that or not, there's a deep desire that all of us have to connect at a very human level. And Gen Z is certainly looking for more human connection. And lastly, 70% might reject traditional business to work independently. It's never been easier to start a business. And so they're leaning into that, and they're going to have a much different career trajectory. Oftentimes, it's believed that Generation Z may have 2, 3, maybe 4 different jobs at one time. But again, they've got the world at their fingertips, and there's so many different options to grow a personal brand or to sell things or to network, all from mobile device. So that puts new standards, that puts new accountability in organizations that want to attract Generation Z. You're not only competing with your competitors in your area to attract this generation and to retain this talent, but you're actually competing with Generation Z's desire and ability to be entrepreneurs. Here's a couple of descriptive words of Generation Z. Independent, I think, is one of the strongest words that really highlights this generation. They're a very DIY generation. Fiscally responsible, of course, with all the things happening around them, they're going to be much more fiscally responsible than previous generations. They're going to be socially conscious. They're DIY, as I stated. They're determined. They're also anxious. They're competitive. They're hardworking. They're focused. They're entrepreneurial, and they're cautious. So just a few words that kind of highlight who is Generation Z. I hope that was helpful. Thank you for your time and attention. If you've got questions about who Generation Z is, or if you're interested in exploring how we might be able to work together or bring this content to your organization or team, simply email me at ryan@ryan-jenkins.com. Or if you want to learn about how to take this content and deliver it in a digital course format for your learning management system or your whole organization, simply visit synklx.com to learn more. Thanks again. Have a great day.